Today on Gamer's Couch,
Burgle Brothers.
Hello! Welcome to the Burgling Bros Gamer's Couch.
You.
Who, me?
Shh.
Welcome to the couch, everybody, or better said, the gaming table. My name is Sarah. I'm the artist behind Pinselgeschichten and owner of this channel. And this very sweet man next to me is my sweet husband, Daniel, who's talking and playing board games with me every week. Talking to you guys, sharing our gaming collection, talking about one specific game a week. So if you're new to the channel and you like board games, subscribe so you can see what games we do have in our collection, what we think about them. We go about it every week like this. He will tell you a bit about rules and gameplay, and then we talk about what we liked or not liked, and finish off with funny stories and experiences and a very tiny teaser for the next draw for initiative, which is the board game painting series I do have with my friend Tina on this channel on Wednesdays. Sweet husband, do your job. Tell us all about Burgle Bros.
Brothers.
It's a bro. We're in the hood with the bank. No, that's so terrible. Just husband talk, I sip coffee.
I try to steal that memory from your brain retroactively. Probably not working. Although it may seem timely with the announcement of that Ocean's 11 spin-off coming out with an all-female cast, this isn't actually related to that. We just happened to stumble across this game at this point in time, which, as the name implies, is pretty much a heist movie as a board game. It's a cooperative game where you take on the roles of the heisters, the
burglars,
the guys who know how to do the job and how to get in and out with the loot without being caught. Maybe. Hopefully. At the beginning of the game, you get to pick who you are, or you can just distribute randomly if you want to. In our case, I'm the mastermind, the Rook.
And I'm the electronics expert, the Juicer.
Other characters are the Safecracker, the Peter Man, or the Tinkerer Savant, the Rigger, or the retired performer, the Acrobat, or the Maverick Falconer, the Raven, the Spotter, and I hold those up later on so you can take a better look at them, who's a Psychic, or the Hawk, who's a Recon professional, or the Hacker, who is not the Hatchet guy, but the computer guy.
Hack the planet!
Surprisingly. In this game, you will break into a facility that usually consists of 2 or more floors. In the basic scenarios in the manuals is usually either 2 floors or 3 floors. We have here now set up 2 floors of the 3-floor scenario because this is just a little bit easier for us to set it up. And I think you'll get the idea once we talked about how the floors correspond to each other, and you can imagine the 3rd floor being there, which technically we would have to deal with as well. You get to break in on the 1st floor because, as polite as you are, you're not rebelling in, but you're just, going through the main entrance, or at least the garage or something like that. Also, you have to deal with guards. So it's after hours. Fortunately, the only guys running around in the complex, except for you, are the guards. And yes, you guessed correctly, you don't want to get caught by the guards. What you want to do in this facility, any facility, is to crack safes, steal some loot, and then get away with it. And getting away involves getting through the roof and into a helicopter, and then
flying off into the sunset.
I was about to say sailing off into the sunset, and then it reminded me that helicopters rarely sail.
They fly off to the sunset. That's fine too. You can amend that.
Riding off into the sunset. on a galloping helicopter.
No, I'm almost out of gas, so he's galloping in the air. No,
No. So
imagination's high.
So you begin with the first floor, and this is already revealed. Usually on a floor you start, and it looks like our second floor here, with everything covered up. Before you even start, you get to reveal where the guard will be. In my case, this little deck of cards tells me that the guard will start at B2. So these cards always correspond to the locations on the floor. And I will reveal a new card, and this is where the guard is going, so his patrol route. We have a little die to indicate where the guard is going to. And incidentally, the die also tells us how fast the guard is moving. On the bottom floor, obviously, guards are more, donut-induced than on the top floors because they have to move less, so they start out a little bit slower. Guards on the next floor would, for example, here move 3 spaces, where our guard is just moving 2 spaces. Now, after we have revealed where the guard is, we get to decide where we want to enter. That is not the case for the other floors, but the first floor or the start of the game is a special case. Now that we know that the guard is starting here and will move over to here, we might pick a place that is not necessarily as obvious. Again, just pretend that all those tiles are turned over and that you wouldn't know where you start. You'll just know that there's a guard and he's going there. So I'm placing this little staircase token here, which will tell us that this is the kind of the entrance to the complex, and then we place our little meeples on here, which we will use to indicate where each player is in our funny complex. Now, starting with the start player, or however you want to choose, you will on your turn take up to 4 actions and do stuff. Then the guard will move, and then it goes clockwise to the next player, and the next player will do stuff up to 4 actions, and then the guard will move. So, interestingly enough, the guard will only move on your floor, because this is the manual specifically calls this out as the movie magic, where only if a camera is on you, the guard will move there, and if the camera is not on your floor and showing what you're doing, then the guard there will not move, which makes total sense to me for what this game tries to achieve. So let's say I am starting. My little reference guide tells me what I can do. As I said, I have up to 4 actions, and the actions are: I can move, and moving just means I can move to an adjacent tile. And if that tile is not revealed, I would now reveal it and suffer the consequences of whatever it happens on moving in here. Some tiles are fairly, neutral. Some are really bad. Actually, there's a lot of tiles that are bad, and very few ones are positive. Instead of moving directly to a tile, you can also spend an action to reveal a tile, and then again you just turn it over, but you're not moving there. Obviously, you have to say before revealing the tile if you want to move there or if you just want to peek at that tile. That is especially important for some of these alert tiles, but we'll get to that once we'll take a closer look at what the tiles are in the game. These wooden sticks are not for your Chinese food or whatever you have ordered, but these are walls. Clearly, you're not allowed to move through a wall or even peek through a wall. Well, there are exceptions, but let's go with usually you're not allowed to walk through walls and peek through walls. You can, as an alternative way to spend your action points, you can hack a computer, and some of these tiles here say computer room, which are the spaces you need to be on to hack them, and we'll talk about that once we get to what the tile actually does. And lastly, the other 2 actions revolve around how to win the game when it comes to cracking safes. So there, on each floor, there's a safe, which you first of all have to find. And once you have found the safe, you try to crack it. You can spend 2 of your 4 actions to add one of these sexy green dice onto the safe tile, and you can do this more than once. So if I started my turn here, I could spend both or all my 4 actions to add 2 dice to that tile, and those dice will always stay on that tile. Another thing I can do with my actions is to spend 1 action to roll all the dice that have been accumulated on that safe tile. What do I want to roll? Well, to actually crack the safe, that's what in fact happens when you roll these dice. You roll them and then check the numbers you have rolled if they correspond with the small numbers that are in the bottom right of all the tiles that are in the same space as the safe. So in my case, I would have rolled a 1 and a 2. So let's check. There's a 2, there's a 2, there's a 2, and sadly no 1. So I would now start putting these "the safe has been cracked" tokens onto those spaces. To successfully crack the safe entirely, I need all the spaces covered up. So I need to roll a 4, a 3, a 5, and then I would be done with cracking the safe. So maybe instead of rolling the dice, I should have spent 2 actions to add another die to that. But even if I don't crack the safe, those dice go back onto the tile, and another player may try to attempt to crack it or may add dice to that. It's a cooperative game, so you want to support each other. So sometimes it's better not to be the hero to be the thief, the shining thief who's cracking the safe, but maybe trying to help another player crack the safe. After you've spent your actions, the guard will move. And let's say I try to crack the safe. Now the guard will move. This little die tells us he moves 2 spaces. And the guard as well is not allowed to move through walls, even though the donuts may make him probably prone to wrecking through walls and singing.
I came in like a wrecking ball.
Yeah.
And if he plays Pokemon Go, he would probably sing "I came in like a Pokeball."
Yes.
Just saying.
So the guard will move around. The guard itself is not really that big of a problem. He's annoying, but he's not something you couldn't avoid. So the guard only becomes a problem if he enters a space where you are, or if you enter a space with a guard. So let's say after the guard has moved, it's Sarah's turn. Now the guard, unfortunately, is kind of, blocking her way out. So she can either stay in this area and just move between those tiles and do stuff there, or she can, risk it and move into the space with the guard and has to discard one of her stealth tokens. Each player has 3 of these stealth tokens. And, you lose 1 whenever you enter the space of a guard or the guard enters your space. Once you got rid of all your tokens, if the guard catches you just another time, it's game over for everybody. Because you are weak-minded and will not stand the interrogation by Donut Guard and all the other guards in the complex, and you will give up the names of your accomplices, which is bad, which translates to if you're the player at the table who is the one foiling the heist, you're bad. They will call you Matt Damon. Pretty sure that's what they call people who foil a heist. So don't be Matt Damon and avoid the guard.
You could also say Mad Damon.
Unless you are Matt Damon, then you're allowed to be Matt Damon. Or if you're... Never mind. So that's how you move around and do stuff. If the guard ever gets to his little die, you reveal a new movement card, and that will identify the new location for the guard. In this case, I would go... Guard is coming after us. He's trying to get me while I'm trying to open the safe. Now, you may have noticed that the guard has 2 movement points and he just moved 1 to this space. So he will now move again, spending his remaining action points or movement points. If, in this case, that would actually be true. If there's 2 paths that are equal in distance to the destination, he will go the most clockwise way. So he will take a left wherever possible. So in this case, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. So he would continue moving over here because that is kind of the clockwise way of looking at the path. So I want to keep on cracking that save. What could my other players do to assist me? And now we get into the space where we talk about what the other tiles mean or what they do. Some are really simple. So I already said there's a computer room. If you stand on the computer room, you can spend an action to place a hacking token, which are these little pirate crossbones, whatever tokens.
Skull and bones.
It's skull and crossbones. Pretty sure it's skull and crossbones.
I know.
The pirate.
I was making a joke.
The pirate token. These tokens allow you to prevent alarms from happening. What do you say? You want to know what an alarm is? Well, those unfortunate red tiles are the ones that usually cause an alarm. There's different security technologies employed or deployed at this facility, may it be a bank or an office, and they work in different ways. For example, there's a fingerprint scanner. This one triggers an alarm on entering. So yeah, something like that. And that is the reason why you want to peek and not pick. And just, move into a space and be like, I'm going to rob everyone, singing along and probably causing an alarm. If you cause an alarm, you take one of these little alarm tokens, put it on here, and now the guard has a new destination because now you put his die onto our little alarm token thing, and he will move here to investigate. Unfortunately, because that's what he is getting paid for, he will hurry up and move for each alarm that is active 1 additional space for that turn. So in this case, he would have 3 movement points when he's starting to move, going 1, 2. He figures out, there's nothing here, stops the alarm, and then a new card is resolved, and he still gets to move in this case because of that alarm giving him another movement point. My English is very noodly today, which is
the German lesson number 1 of the day.
Very German, my English. So that's the fingerprint alarm. There are other different tiles. So for example, here's the laser. If you want to enter this thing without triggering an alarm, you have to spend 2 actions. So that also means if you moved into this space blindly, not seeing what it is, and you don't have an additional action you could spend, it's alarm. You will still move successfully in here. You can choose to hastily move in here and force an alarm. In this case, that is what you might want to do if someone is just about to be caught by a guard and you want to distract him and intentionally trigger the alarm. There's other things there, like the thermo, that says if your action ends there, you trigger an alarm, which is unfortunate because then you're a sitting duck there and another sitting duck there, hoping that the guard is far enough away not to catch up to you. But just moving through is not that much of a problem, or hanging from a ceiling if you're Tom Cruise. So
I'm not gonna try to sing the Mission Impossible melody now. It's a running gag in our household. I'm unable to do that.
Henry Mancini is very sad.
I'm so sorry. I can paint him. I cannot sing the melody.
There's Other things include the motion sensor that says if you don't stop there after moving to that space, it triggers an alarm. And I think there's a detector, a metal detector that triggers if you hold a tool or loot, and we'll get to those once we talk about those little cards that are up here. But let's take a quick look at some of the other tiles that are around. So we have stairs, which essentially are your way to moving to the next floor. So once you uncover the stairs, you would place the corresponding stair token on the other side, and now from this space you could move to this space or can peek to this space. So let's pretend Sarah is doing that. She's peeking that, so we reveal this. And good thing she did that, because there's an alarm under this tile.
Oh no.
So if she wants to move upstairs, she should do so with a couple of action points left. What else do we have? We have the walkway. If this is revealed via move, so if you haven't peeked ahead and just run into the walkway, you will fall, because the floor is not only slippery, but it seems holy. So this is you fall and may move downstairs. If you can, obviously you cannot move off the table into the basement back again. But if this happens to you on a higher floor, you would have to deal with the downstairs thing. There are not only bad... No, let's stick with the bad things first. There's, for example, this camera, which is not necessarily automatically triggering an alarm, but if a guard is on any other camera, kind of giving them a hint that they would see you on camera, that would then trigger an alarm. And this doesn't say camera needs to be on the same floor. In fact, some of these tiles are not just restricted to your current floor. For example, my computer room, if I hack it, and this one is the motion alarm computer room, that means that if someone would run into this or over this motion sensor thing, and triggering the alarm, I can spend this token to ignore that alarm. That would also work if I run into a motion sensor on the other floor, because this is a central computer system, and you may guess correctly, there's only one computer per alarm in the entire game. Also, it is unlikely that you will find, highly unlikely that you will find the computer room for the same alarm on a different floor. There are some tiles that are just annoying, like this deadbolt, which is another symbol that shows up here. So we have these alarm symbols here for tiles that generate alarms. These stop tokens remind you that it's really difficult to enter this space. The deadbolt meaning if this space is empty, you need to spend 3 actions to get in there. So again, another thing there where teamwork will pay off. So if one of you moves in here for 3 actions, other players can just move into here because that door is kept open. No, not that.
Which one?
This is
Isn't it
no, that's the keypad. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, sorry.
So the deadbolt, as long as you keep this thing open, you're good. But if not, it's quite annoying to get through. Actually, do we have the keypad?
It's in your stack of every available tile that I prepared so nicely for you.
Then let me quickly go through. We have the stairs. Here we have the keypad. The keypad is similar to the deadbolt in that it prevents you from entering the tile. But this here says to enter, roll a die, open on a 6, add a die to each roll. So the first time, let's say this motion detector is actually the keypad, and Sarah tries to move into this keypad thing, she would...
Not with the orange one. I need the green. 1...
Roll.
4.
So she rolled a 4, and that means she just doesn't get to go in here, stays on that space, but loses one of her actions. Then she may try again and gets another die to do so.
Nope.
And still nothing. And another try, but this time...
Nope.
And,
I'm having Wheaton's disease,
and
guys.
last try.
I should have had a flu. Yes.
There's the 6. Now, since Sarah is pretty good with remembering codes, this keypad is now no longer a hindrance for all of us because now we actually do know the code. So once that happens, you put the little "this thing is open" mark on it, and this is no longer a big obstacle to go around. But still, it took her entire turn to get in there, which is not unlikely. We have those detectors. We have the safe walkway. Yeah, here's one of the other computer rooms. So this is for the fingerprint alarm. It behaves exactly the same way as the motion detector computer room. I'm just trying to figure out which one. Okay. Other rooms we did not have yet. So
They're here.
yeah, but
Just saying.
other rooms that are slightly annoying, but not as terrifying as these you may not pass or you shall not pass tiles. I'm sorry. Again, the Plättchen. The foyer Plättchen,
Which is tile.
makes you more spottable, I guess, or well,
Pimply.
you're in the unfortunate position that if you stand on the foyer, you can be seen from adjacent tiles. So if the guard is moving here, now this already makes you lose a stealth token because he can see you, because it's a wide open space. It's really difficult to hide under that luxurious couch that's on here, which actually looks quite uncomfortable looking closer at it. But you don't want to get caught red-handed in the foyer. A similar thing is the atrium, which allows you to peek up and down because it's, an atrium. But unfortunately, you're also seen from above and below. So meaning if on the corresponding tile there's a guard on the upper or lower floor, unfortunately, another stealth token goes the way of the dodo. But let's go back to tokens or to tiles that are a little bit more fortunate to what we do. One is the one we're actually standing on, the secret door, although it is entirely useless at the space where it is, because this says may enter through walls. So if there would have been a wall here, I could enter the secret door space through this wall. Unfortunately, this is a one-way secret door, so you can only enter that tile through a wall, but you cannot exit that tile through a wall, so you cannot get back once you went there. A tile that is a little bit similar to that, and that's why it's the same color, is the service duct, and that allows you to move between service ducts. The cool thing about this, however, is that the other service duct may be on another floor, so if the other one is over here, that is another way for you to switch floors and run around and to do cool, I'm not here, or now you see me, now you don't things with the guards. And then there's a couple of tiles that are definitely very much positive, like this lavatory, the #1 hiding spot for all heists, because bathroom stalls are still...
You gotta poop.
It's a very... I think it must be a religious thing. Nobody will find you in a bathroom stall. You can hide there indefinitely. Well, not entirely indefinitely, but there are 3... stalls here that you can use to hide from a guard, meaning when this is revealed, this tile gets 3 stealth tokens, and if you are spotted by a guard on this space, you first remove the tokens from this tile before having to spend your own hard-earned stealth tokens. And last but not least, we have the laboratory, and that brings us to the cards that you can gain in this game. This one says, the first time a player enters this, you draw a tool. And a tool is not your companion in this case, but this stack of cards, which has beneficial equipment for your heist. And here we have the EMP, that says remove all alarms from all floors. No alarms are triggered on any floor until your next turn. Discard at the start of your next turn. And these equipment cards count as free actions that you can spend on your turn, which is pretty neat. Most of them are pretty powerful. For example, here we have the makeup kit. Discard to give all players on your current tile a stealth token. And with this makeup kit, you have a powerful ally, because obviously no one was expecting Bozo the Clown in this high security facility when you have some new eyelashes or something like that. Other things are like the smoke bomb, which has a similar effect as the lavatory, where you add stealth tokens onto your space, but this can be used anywhere. I think you get the idea with these tool token. I was about to say now. I call the cards tokens and the tokens cards and
the tiles
and the tiles cards.
Something is a bit scrambled with you, dear scatterbrain.
Today
Sorry.
That's not scatterbrain. That's Scatman.
Yeah, but it reminded me of Scatman, the scatterbrain. Sorry.
Don't take me on a heist. At least not right now. Later, maybe.
First you have to record Gamers Couch, then you're going to go out and play with your other fellow thieves and go on a heist. Not before work is done.
So let's talk about the sweet life of the heisting, and that is what happens if you crack that safe. Well, for one, you get a free tool card, which is pretty dope. But you also get loot, and yes, I say but, because loot tends to be either cumbersome or, well, distractingly, annoyingly prominent, and that makes you more suspicious or easy to find. So loot has, I was about to say, a debuff. It's always a negative effect on whoever carries the loot, and every heister may only carry one piece of loot, so you have to distribute the stuff around and organize how you want to do that. But it also makes things more difficult, obviously, as you progress. For example, this cursed goblet says, player who draws the cursed goblet loses one stealth, which is annoying.
What if you don't have any? If that is your... If you don't have any, then you lose the game immediately, right?
You might... I don't know. I would assume yes, but... Then again, the tiara, for example, says guards will see you from adjacent tiles while you are moving because, well, you're an adorable little princess carrying this around and everybody will pay attention to you. Or it's maybe as bright and shining and glimmering that everybody will be seen. It's almost like lasers going in every direction. Or the painting, the holder may not travel through secret doors or service ducts because, well, carrying around a big painting is a big pain in the butt, cheek, something.
Bottom.
Or you have the key card. Holder must be present to roll dice for cracking any safe, which is also quite annoying because that means you have to go to the safe and you have to stay on the same floor as the guy cracking this. And all of this stuff is not very helpful, and since it's drawn randomly, you never know what crazy stuff you will get. The only fortunate thing is that you may trade this with other players, but again, the bad news is you have to be on the same tile to trade that. Same goes for the tools. So if you think a tool is not really helpful for you, or there's even some loot that prevents you from using tools entirely, you can get rid of those or give them to other players so that they, well, can make the most out of it. Another thing happens, and that's not quite as fortunate as getting, tools and loot as fortunate as loot may be, it's the necessary evil in a heist if you really want to win. The actual bad thing that also happens is there's a silent alarm that's triggered once a safe is cracked, and that leads to the movement die of the guard on this floor and any floor below this safe. So if we would have cracked our safe on the second floor, we would increase the movement die of the guard here to 4 and also the one below to 3. So yes, you can kind of crack safes out of order by going or splitting the team and going for level 3 or level 2 first, and or trying to do both at the same time. But be warned, if you crack a safe on a floor above the one that you still need to crack, that also increases the guard's movement there, and you have to deal with that somehow. Now, if you have the loot, you would try to move again back through the stairs over to the other floor, and here the same thing happens. You would, first of all, the very first time you enter that new floor, you flip over a card to determine where the guard goes, and give him where a place he needs to go to, and then you start over and try to figure out, well, what's here? Oh, how lucky we are! We know that the safe is here. Actually, I didn't know where the safe was, so pretty
because
good.
I set up and I didn't say.
And with the safe found, we can already start adding dice to them. We only have to scout these remaining tiles to figure out the combination for the safe. Theoretically, someone can already start cracking the safe, but let's say someone successfully rolled a 3 and placed this thing on this tile. If another tile is revealed that also has a 3, you still need to roll a 3 again, so you don't automatically have done that. The other thing that you need to do is find the exit. So there's still one walkway in here. So let's say we did some incredible scouting and revealed additional tiles. Actually, someone would have moved over here. We hopefully did not fall down the walkway, and we figured there's a keypad here. What other tiles do we need? We need to figure out where these are. The camera, and still no walkway. So while someone is frantically trying to reveal what's in the safe, the others have to, well, go on and try to figure out where they are. So peeking and poking, and what luck we have, the stairs are right there. Again, I didn't know that, but now we know that the stairs are there. As some weird kind of locking mechanism, the roof is
on fire,
off limits unless you have all the loot. So you have to kind of coordinate with your other players that you grab all the loot that you want to grab. So 3 for 3 floors, 2 for 2 floors. The box itself is a representation of our little facility, which I think is pretty nice with the helicopter space up there and the door. So you can actually keep this next to the board. And once you have your loot collected, all the safes are cracked, you move to the stairs and move your guys to the landing spot. And if you have done that, congratulations, you are the heisters of the evening and have successfully burgled with your bros this thing. Now, how do our specialists differ from one another? Let's take a look. We have, on my hand, the Rook, who's a mastermind, who has a special ability saying once per turn you may spend an action to move another player 1 tile. Ignore move costs such as those from a deadbolt and laser. Follow all other movement rules as normal. Which, as this card says, makes this deadbolt less scary, because now I can move someone else into that space for 1 action instead of 3 on his turn. I can also play the other side of the Rook, and this is the every side has an advanced skill side. So this says disguise. You may spend your first action to trade places with any player. this does not count as entering the tile for either of you. Now, before you might get confused with that and think, hey, this is pretty cool because now you can swap places with another player even if the guard is on a space. You would still lose stealth for that because you technically that doesn't, well, the rules say that although it's kind of entering the tile, the stealth thing counts as re-entering for that one purpose. But you wouldn't have to deal with whatever effect is on the tile. So if there's a motion detector or a thermal or something like that.
I'm the crybaby. The juicer is the crybaby, having the special ability of, as a free action, you may create an alarm in an adjacent tile, but not through walls. And for the advanced skill, she's, by the way, looking really cool. Just saying. She has reroute. Once per turn, as a free action, you may pick up an active alarm on your tile and draw a new patrol card, or discard your alarm token to trigger an alarm limit 1. So that is the juicer.
And all the other specialists have similar powerful things, like the safecracker, who is really good at, well,
cracking saves. Some can distract the guards. Some come with extra loot options, or, well, not extra, with extra tool options, and so on. The manual gives you some starting scenarios or some suggestions how you can set up your, heist target. This is kind of the basic setup where you would have 3 floors, each consisting of 16 tiles each in this 4x4 grid. If you're on 2 floors, you have actually 5 tiles, and that's where some of these cards come into place. That I placed them there.
Where some of these cards come into place. Hang on, no, I think it's on those.
On the 3 also. No, there's the stack for the 3s.
Oh, there. Where you have these little triangles that would indicate a potential 5th row that you then move the guard towards. There's also something like a Variant mini expansion thing called Lost Visual, where the guard may disappear and reappear, making your life a little bit more miserable, where you're surprised where he will be, because next turn you will just draw a new patrol card and then, well, look, he's over there, and moving further along. If you ever run out of these patrol cards and exhausted the entire stack and have to reshuffle to draw a new one, that also increases the movement count of your guard, well, making things a little bit more tense. And believe me, with a guard that has 4 movement, you don't want to have a lot of alarms around, because he's more like a rolling donut than very, very fast. Hard to catch.
Event cards, and then you're done.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot those.
No problem. You have me to remind you.
If at any point in your turn you only spend 2 of your, or if you have 2 or more of your actions left after you've done, you have to draw an event card. Some of them are positive, some of them are negative. For example, this one says, "Squeak, move the guard on your floor 1 tile towards the nearest character." Or this one says, "Brownout, alarm tokens on all floors are removed. Draw a new patrol card for each alarm removed." So these spice up things a little bit. And you kind of have to play the event card if you don't use up your actions. Something that is apparently against the spirit of the game is to move back and forth between tiles to force spending your actions. If you, for example, are trapped in here with the guard there, you could move, or you could hack the computer, but if you still have 2 or more actions left after that, you have to draw an event tile, and let's hope that an event card, and let's hope that it's
I'm
terrible
so sorry.
this time. It's let's hope that event wasn't squeak and moves the guard closer to you, for example.
And that's
Now we're
how
done.
you play it. Yeah. Let's move up into the next section, likes and dislikes. Do you want to start? Do you want me to start?
Just quick, because we usually do this about the how it's played. Manual, similar to paperback, because surprise, same designer, is very. I found it quite simple. It's nicely illustrated with the more important bits as well. Again. And this is at first I like that these both games have a lot of variants or suggestions how you can modify the default gameplay to your likings, making things a little bit more difficult or just more varied or a little bit easier and so on. Pretty cool. Apart from that, I like the artwork of this.
Did you say for how many players? I forgot to
No.
ask. Do you want to tell the folks?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't know.
Hold it. Hold it on.
It's for H2 Burgle Bros players.
God damn.
Probably on the.
So unprepared.
It's 1 to 4 players, and it's 45 to 90 minutes, and
Which is pretty accurate, I'd say.
it's you can be alive, but you don't have to necessarily be alive to be allowed to play this game, because there's no age restriction on this.
So zombies can play it. That's awesome. Bro.
Brains. Burger brain.
Burger brain, bro.
Actually,
BBB.
That doesn't sound too wrong. Well,
Anyway, if Matt Damon is ever a zombie,
Matt Damon.
He will be in the Burger Brain Bros. Anyway, I want to chime in with the artwork. I'm very sure it's the same artist that also made Paperback. It's Ryan Goldsberry, and he made a very cute and beautiful game. It reminds me of the 50s, that kind of art style. It's very sweet, and it's just nice to look at when you set up the game, and when you have downtime because other players are having their turn. You can look at the artwork, and it's very nice. Also, this game has the desaturated colors, so it's very 50s, like I said. The tokens represent that best, I think. Give me the yellow. So, yeah, the red was missing too, and the purple. I'm so unprepared. This is awful.
They can see the colors on the tiles.
Yeah, but I really like the colors of the little tokens and the icons and stuff. It's very, I'd say, 50s, early 60s.
It
reminds me of that.
I think this is
time.
Leans a little bit more towards the original Ocean's 11 than the version with Matt Damon and other upstarting actors that may or may not have had a career after that movie.
Maybe, I don't know. So I really liked that. One other thing that I liked was the you don't have a board where you move, but you have the tiles that you can change up in size and stuff depending on how many players or what you want to go for. And it almost, when you set it up, it almost feels like memory. Because, well, you set them up face down, and you really have to make sure that you don't peek, because otherwise that would be cheating. But it's like, ooh, I wonder, I mixed in the safe and the stairs. Yes, I have to be sure I mixed in the stairs and the safe into that layer. And it's like, ooh, where is it? Where did it go? It's like the memory kind of a feel that I get.
Since I didn't set this up for our video, I kind of skipped over some of the how to set this game up thing. When you do those floors, you have to mix in or make sure that there's only one safe and one walkway per thing, or whatever your scenario demands. But that's the only thing you
have to make sure
should pay attention to, as well as these cards actually tell you for which floor they are. And again, if
they have a tiny number.
if you're playing with 3 floors, then you just use that number. If you're using with the 2-floor variant, you need to pay attention to these little triangles.
Yeah, but I really liked that for setting up, and yes, you have suggestions on where to put the walls, but you can put them randomly as well. So you have a lot of replayability, which I like a lot. It's a very simple setup, meaning there's no comment there. You have a very simple setup. There's not a lot to it when it comes to the components, but it's very intriguing because this to me feels like memory for adults with a bit of a twist to it, which is find the save.
You mean memory in regards to you flip over the tiles?
Yeah, you have that excitement, like, ooh, peek, and then you don't have to remember it because you don't flip them over, but it has the same. I was about to say
the memory part is missing.
It still has the same excitement for me, just when you flip it over and see, oh, what kind of tile is underneath? Will it screw over my plan on what I want to do on my turn? Or is it maybe helpful to what I want to do? And I really liked that about this game. Also, I'm very fond of cooperative games, and this one does it very well. It's not that, well, there is always a chance for an alpha player on a cooperative game, but it's very minimal here because you, with your character, definitely have to decide what do you want to do. Will you sacrifice maybe a stealth token for the group, or won't you? So there's not a lot of possibilities or opportunities to obviously alpha play at the table, which I like a lot. There's a lot of communication, and in the end, you decide what you want to do on your turn.
I mean, an alpha player would tell someone else how to use
but you don't.
Like
there's only so much that it could influence, and there's usually more than one opportunity or one possibility that you could do on your turn. So you might just want to go the other way as a player. So,
but I guess
I didn't feel that we had obvious alpha playing.
Yeah, but I think this game is as prone to alpha playing as alpha players as all the other games. But
I didn't feel it as strong with this one.
The part that is less so is the fact that you still have an element where you have to roll dice.
Exactly.
And that's something that the player has to do on his turn.
And also the drawing of the cards with the events, the tools, and the loot. There's a luck factor.
There's some surprise.
I think that is what made it less obviously alpha gamer possible, this game. I didn't feel you could really alpha game with this game. You could give suggestions, and yes, you have communication at the table, which is a thing that's supposed to happen in cooperative games, but I didn't feel that others were just executing and one person was deciding on where you play, where you go, what you do, what the outcome is, and how many turns we are through and are on the roof. So I didn't feel it was as alpha gamey.
Although a majority of this game is about the logistics of who's moving where and which guard is moving next. Can you do something to prevent the guard moving? This is one of the most central aspects. I mean, yes, finding the safe and rolling dice to unlock it is all good and fair. And just going out of the way of the guard is also nice. But one of the bigger parts really is the, can I maybe move to another floor? So if my character is here and I move to the next floor, then that means this guard will move instead of this guard, which might be close to having discovered some other players. Or at the end of the game, when you have all the loot, that the players start leaving the third floor to prevent the guard from moving at all, and
stuff like that. Yeah,
everybody getting out quick.
Yeah. But I really, really like that. And when we first got the game, I felt like it would maybe be a dinner game. Let me tell you, it's not. It's a very tense game. I really... It's not to the point that it was exhausting once we had 3 floors of heist done and went to the bar to have some shawarma, whatever. But
it's a little bit like the Forbidden Island.
Yes, but it felt very tense while we played. There wasn't the point.
Forbidden Island also.
Yeah, but there's usually when you play cooperative games in the beginning, it feels quite simple, and and only at the end it's really tense. This one was very tense from the get-go, so I didn't. It was maybe a bit more exhausting in that way, or it felt more like ooh, but the reward and the satisfaction in the end when you got it was also way more, which I liked a lot. It's a very cool game, and I think we definitely have to play that with our parents. It's one of those games that I
have to say I already like, or the main draw for me to all of this game was the theme, because I kind of was wishing for having a heist base or a board game about heists. This isn't actually quite what I was looking for, because this is more dealing about, as I said, the running around, hiding,
it's more
the movement,
Metal Gear
the movement
game.
part of don't let the guard catch you or try to distract him. Don't get me wrong, I still very much like that, but I was more thinking about something. For me, a really good heist movie or story is less about the bumbling around and trying to crack open the locks, but there needs to be some kind of twist or turn where things go sideways, but then you get, or the whole thing resolves itself. So, but this doesn't have that at all. So there's no moment at the end where, oh, the guard caught us all, but did they? And then
they're one of you, actually.
And then there's a retroactive thing that reveals it. I know that,
think about that.
I'm blanking on the name. There's the TV show that also is about the heists.
Leverage?
Yes. I think the Leverage role-playing game is actually doing something like that, where you get into a situation and it turns sideways and it's not good, and then you kind of retroactively say, but that's not really what happened. Here's what really was, and then do that. So this doesn't do that, and I was thinking about having that in here, but no. Still like it very much. For me, it's similar, as I said, to something like Forbidden Island or other cooperative games. I think I have to say I think I prefer this even for Forbidden Island. Forbidden Island is a little bit too simplistic.
I would say it would be more a family game with smaller kids, and this one isn't. Am I right about that?
Yeah,
this is for adults.
I think this is fine for kids as well, but it's way
not
more
as young.
It's way more involved with those additional rules that come with the little tiles and doing stuff.
Feels so too.
But I like the thematic artwork matching to what they want to do, and the components are also nice. The thing that's slightly unfortunate is you get custom meeples for all your little doodles who can break into stuff that fit on here. I haven't actually shown them properly yet. I will do so soonish.
Now.
But there's a second sticker sheet which is for the advanced skill guide. So here you have my rook, and the advanced guy is that the one that's on that sticker. But unfortunately, you only have meeples for one. I'm not sure if there's a way to pick up another set. But I found that weird that you have to decide which one you want to use.
Or you put one on one side and the other on the other side, and then have them like this instead of standing up and moving. And then you play whatever skill is maybe it's supposed to be like that. But then why
both
do you have
sheets,
two
yeah.
stickers of each? Maybe because of clumsy people like me who are sometimes like really bad with putting them down.
I think that this is also a game that was kickstarted, so chances are good that like something like this was a stretch goal that it got added in later on, and
could be
that's the reason why it's the case. But the other stuff, again, what I also like about these games in general, is the packaging in regards to this is just a very small box with a lot of content in there.
This is really packed.
Similar to paperback. It's like, wow, when I opened this up, I wasn't expecting those wooden pieces in here, and you can even upgrade that further. There's some alarm tokens you can purchase that have real lights in them and do some more alarm, although you certainly wouldn't fit them into the box anymore.
No, but it's a lovely game. You did good buying this one. I'm very happy with it. So shall we rate and then talk about the experience? So did we forget anything? No, good. Okay. Shake the arm fat.
I talked about anything.
Shake the arm fat. 1, 2, 3, go. Is that's an up, or that's a Viagra up, or what is that?
I wanted to have it a surprise by.
Okay, that's better.
Misleading.
Viagra is working. So that's a totally awesome game. Yeah, well done, Mr. Fowers.
Again.
Or Fowers. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. I would say Fowers.
Tim Fowers.
Fowers. Yeah, I'm good with the pronunciation. Anyway, let's hop into the last section, funny stories and experiences. We played this with 4 people twice. No, twice.
Didn't we play once with 3 only?
Oh yeah, no. Did we?
Well, I don't.
No, I don't. I just remember 2 games.
Usually we try to make a point to try all the games out with just 2 players. I have to say, the rules for this with 2 players only change in that these patrol stacks get less cards in them. Otherwise, it's pretty much the same game. So I thought I felt pretty confident on what I think about this game, and it's. Again, the comparison to something like Forbidden Island, but it is similar to that. The game is the same, and I think that's perfectly fine. That's what I expect from that.
Well, in the first game, we learned that you really have to make sure that there's only 1 pair of stairs and save on each level. We had a bit of a mishap there, but really make sure.
I mean, it's.
Otherwise, you run around one level and wonder, where's the fucking safe? And then you have everything, every tile turned over and there's no safe and no stairs.
Or worse, where it's like, okay, we got the safe, you get on tracking, I'll find the... Wait, why is there another safe here?
Yeah. So really make sure. It was funny, we managed, but make sure. And I really, really liked the first game. It was a good first game. But I would say it took us about 60 to 90 minutes to go through all the 3 layers set up to end of the game and have all the loot in our bag. But it was really a lot of fun. Like with every game that we played. So one of us in the end had 0 stealth tokens anymore, and at least 1 or sometimes 2 people had only 1 stealth token left. So we really had to make sure that the guard would avoid those players, and we had to make sure that they got to the roof first, just to not be caught by the guards. And that was really tense in both of the games. It's like, oh no!
I wouldn't specifically recall a single moment where I say, that's the moment that I want to recall thinking about this game. But I do recall that there's a lot of, I'm standing here, let's do we pick the next patrol card with our special ability, or do we hope that he's not getting to my space, and do I move away, or do I risk an alarm? And that happens quite often, and and then you find your way to where you want to go, and then the guard is changing his pattern, coming after you, or doing some other stuff.
Especially with 4 players, there's always somebody in the way of the guard. I felt like.
And on the same side, I really enjoy the, oh no, he's coming after me, but wait! If you go there and run through that laser alarm, then he will come after you, and that's the way how we can resolve this. And that's
I really like that as well. And we played all of the characters except one. We didn't play the acrobat, but all the others we played, and they played similar, but then again very different because of their special abilities. And I liked that that there is no character that you must have with a certain group to make it work. You can really mix and match them, and I really liked that in the games. It felt very natural and very well balanced, the groups that we had, and we just chose them because of funny faces, or because they're girls, or because they have a raven, or whatever. And that was very nice.
Another thing I like about this is the characters, to me, felt very unique. Sometimes co-op games, at least to me, it feels as if, yes, you have different abilities, but sometimes they kind of feel a little bit inconsequential, or not as. I like to feel being really good at what my character is doing, or being badass at that. And this does that pretty well. If you have the safe cracker, chances are everybody wants you to crack that safe. Or with other games, it's like if you have 4 players, you must have that and that character with you. Otherwise, you cannot really have an advantage at whatever you're doing in that game. And I didn't feel that way in this game. I felt like whatever characters we chose, we were good. Meaning, like, we could really play to the advantages and the special abilities of our characters, and still they moved the same way pretty much. But everybody was kind of focusing on their specialty, and had to, I felt like, in the game. So you couldn't just play a generic character. You would have needed to. But there's still enough overlap to the common behavior as a character that I wouldn't say that if you draw that character, there's only one way you can play this character. You still, most of the time, you are running away from the guard, or running around
like
trying to find that staircase, or that safe, or trying to uncover the last number for the safe combination, so that someone can finally get to cracking it and going forward.
I really like that. I don't remember any other funny things that we had. I mean, we enjoyed it every time that we played it, and we had different players at the table, so all of them really liked this game. Let's hop into the teaser and then wrap up the video.
So, let me take my mental powers. I see something painted in the future, specifically on Wednesday.
You're good.
It's about a game.
Yes.
A board game.
Yes.
I see 2 different images.
Yes.
Paintings.
Yes.
I see 2 doofuses rambling about.
They're not
doofuses.
They're artists. They're not doofuses. But the game is about 2 groups not liking each other very much and trying to battle that out.
Democrats and Republicans.
You could say that. But
men and women.
No, we like each other usually.
Children and adults.
We like each other usually as well. Don't interrupt me. There's one group that is known for not being able to aim at things very well. And then there's the other group that has the coolest companions with them. It's a rather big franchise, I'd say.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
No.
Star Trek.
No.
You sure?
Yes.
Not Star Trek?
Yes, I'm sure.
We
don't have a Star Trek game, but anyway. Not yet.
Then it must be Lord of the Rings.
No.
There's no other big franchise with people having severe aiming problems.
If I would be able to sing a melody now, I would. And you wouldn't know right away. But I'm unable. Or people make a lot of fun of me, especially this one here. And he's very right about that. Not very good at that. So I cannot sing or whistle the melody to make sure you know. But there's another chance or another way to resolve that problem in case you don't know what game we are talking about. Just be curious for a couple of days and then come back on Wednesday and see what game it is. Or if you know it, check out if you were right and what paintings we do on Wednesday about that game. Game.
Now I know. It's Star Wars Armada.
First thing right, second thing no.
X-Wing.
It's not no. It's not X-Wing, it's not Armada.
The card game.
No. The other game.
Lego Star Wars.
We don't have Lego Star Wars.
We do.
It's always one.
But that's
that's just the Death Star and the Star Destroyer. It's not. We don't play with those. They're like plants. They're decorations in our house. Things you can dust every week.
Looping Louie.
What? What? What is Loop? What? Come again? What is
Loop? It's Looping Chewie. There would be the Star Wars.
Yeah. I'm not gonna yawn now and sound like Chewbacca, which I do. Yeah, when I yawn really, really long, I sound like Chewbacca. But I'm not going to demonstrate now.
Also looks like it. She's a natural.
I'm very hairy.
You
can't.
It's like the doodloo.
Don't. We're gonna wrap up this video now. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. We will see you next Sunday with a new game on this table couch. Doodaloo. And I hate that he always distracts me for the outros. If you're new to the channel, like I said in the beginning of the video, subscribe. If you liked this video, give us a thumbs up because it really helps. And if you see us on Board Game Geek, you can subscribe to the geek lists of Gamers Couch and Draw for Initiative as well. And we're going to see you on the next video on Wednesday, 9 a.m. CET, and next Sunday on this channel as well at 2 p.m. CET. With a new game. And it will be teased in the Talk O'Clock the day before on Saturday. I always tease what's gonna come up on the couch table. Now we say goodbye.
Don't be Matt Damon.
Don't be Matt Damon. Yeah.